It's been a terrible day in election news. First, I woke up to the news that Javier Milei had won in Argentina's presidential election. For anyone who doesn't know who this fellow is, and you should look him up because he is a living meme. He is a far-rightist, so-called anarcho-capitalist who wants to basically tear apart most of the government and pursue a reactionary social agenda. Of course, right libertarianism is always a kind of weirdly reactionary, almost crypto-fascist approach. Of course, he's going to ban abortion again and dismantle the Department of Education, things like that, because that's going after social programs is always kind of the point. And then I was on pins and needles all day watching the Dutch election. And worst possible outcome there, Geert Wilders ends up coming ahead. His party has a significant lead in all the exit polls, so he's likely going to be the top party. Now, fortunately, most of the major parties don't want to form a coalition with him, which will really complicate the position. Of course, the Conservatives, of course, will do so. But, if anybody doesn't know who Geert Wilders is, he's also a far-rightist and a massive freaking Islamophobe. He's one of those, anti-immigrant populists, which means you're looking at somebody basically treading Nazi territory. I mean, these kind of movements, fascist and totalitarian movements, they always depend upon internal and external enemies. The internal enemies here, you always have to point to a group that is not actually a real threat, but can be turned into a threat because of ignorance. This is why the Nazis used Jews. They were a very small part of the population, weren't really relevant, but you could use fear and ignorance to twist them into an enemy that the great leader can save you from. And that's kind of what you're seeing with Wilders. So, yay. So for those of us who study the far right and extremism in the world, this has been a really, really shitty day in electoral politics. And again, a really significant bit of evidence that liberalism has really failed to offer any kind of alternative. We need to resurrect a genuine leftist alternative because, the liberals are just going to keep providing an impetus for the creation of new fascist and reactionary movements. So, there's your depressing news. I'm going to get back to working on my shed. I finished the shed recently, so it's still in my mind. I'm going to get back to working on this lovely fence I'm building here. Ooh, I'm having so much fun with that. My Thanksgiving break. See y'all later.